The latest news coming in from India, where 15 schools in the Indian state of Karnataka's capital city, Bengaluru, have received bomb threats via email, causing panic among students, parents and school authorities. Now, this has forced authorities to evacuate students over security reasons. And about 5,000 students have already been evacuated to safer places from these 15 schools. And despite signs that the bomb threats may be fake, anti-sabotage and bomb squads of the city police are now on checks in these schools. As of yet, none of the schools reported bomb threats have been verified. Now, the initial series threats targeted 7 schools, which were subject to these alarming threats. And one of the target schools is also situated opposite the residence of Karnataka's Deputy Chief Minister, D.K. Shivkumar. And several other schools received similar threats via email shortly afterwards. And as a safety procedure, Bengaluru police evacuated students and staff from the schools. And in response to these threats, schools also issued an advisory to students' parents regarding the threat. And the advisory read, "The school has received a security threat from unknown sources, and as we hold the safety of our children at utmost priority, we have decided to disperse the students immediately." Now, the email threats are on similar lines to those received in multiple schools back in 2022, where around 16 schools in the city received fake bomb threats via emails. Now, for more on this, we are joined by our correspondent Siddharth MP. Now, Siddharth, more than 15 schools across Bengaluru received bomb threats through anonymous emails. And what's alarming is that one of the schools was also opposite the residence of Karnataka's Deputy Chief Minister. What's the latest you have on this?
To understand is that the anti-sabotage teams and the bomb squads are conducting searches in all these schools. As far as the initial information goes, no suspicious materials or objects have been found from any of these locations. So far, so good is what we can say. But at the same time, this is a mindless act as it appears, because, 15 schools or almost 5,000 students are the ones that are being put to panic and trouble because of this kind of hoax email that has come to them. And this is not the first time this is happening, as you mentioned some time back. This has happened earlier as well. So this is kind of a very mindless and heartless act by some anonymous people to kind of, trouble so many people, young children, their parents, guardians, grandparents. So all of them would be doing their thing on a working day. But amid all of this, when they receive SMSs or when they receive news alerts saying that there are bombs of the wards, imagine what kind of panic it can create. So this is the kind of threat that Bengaluru police have to deal with right now, because it's the panic effect that it causes. Of course, there might not be bombs on the site, and searches are underway to ascertain if there are really any bombs on the site. But at the same time, it's the kind of mental impact that this kind of threat has, and that is the intended effect of such instances, because even in the past, it happened in Bengaluru. At least 10 schools received emails regarding bombs or explosives being placed in their school and getting detonated anytime soon. It was a threat kind of a message. And then too, the police were deployed, the bomb squad was deployed, evacuations took place, but then they found out it was a hoax, and they traced the call, and then they found out that, it was the handiwork of a minor or something like that, somebody who was below the age of 18. So these are the kind of instances that create panic, shock and mass hysteria among the people, because when children are in danger, obviously the parents panic, and they also have to rush away from their work and bring the children back, or the children have to be sent back home from the school. So this is the kind of situation that is prevailing. We have to remember this is kind of become routine in some cities, because in other cities as well, in Indian metropolitan cities, there are hoax calls that come to the Chief Minister's residence. There are hoax calls that come to railway stations saying, there are explosives planted and so on. So on one hand, obviously this has to be taken seriously, because any threat is a serious threat. But at the same time, we also have to remember that there is precedence to such kind of panic mongers resorting to such cheap acts, which can, disrupt the lives of normal people and, also cause immense chaos in a metropolitan city.
Yeah, it is a situation of panic and chaos, as you pointed out, in Bengaluru, and something similar that happened on similar lines last year, but it turned out to be hoax. What's the likelihood of this to be a hoax?
At least 15 schools have been alerted. The idea, at least as it appears, seems to be to only cause panic. There doesn't seem to be any major incident per se, and that's the reports are also saying that so far as the police are concerned, as far as the concerned authorities in Bengaluru are concerned, they too are saying that it seems to be a hoax and it doesn't seem to be anything. But at the same time, they're leaving nothing to chance. They're doing their duty of sanitizing the schools, the bomb squads, the bomb disposal squads, be it the anti-sabotage units, they are conducting their checks. Students have all been evacuated to safety, some and their home. That's the kind of situation that's prevailing there. But as far as the authorities are concerned, this is something that has to be seriously looked into, because this is a case of cyber crime. So they usually take a three-pronged approach in this kind of instances. One, the school immediately on getting a call like this will alert the authorities. The second thing would be to evacuate the students to a nearby ground or a nearby open area, and measures that they have to do in case of any emergency in a school. So take them to the open ground or take them to a place which is far away from any nearby structures. So that's what they do. Then after that, of course, once the police and bomb squad are on site, they obviously look into the emails and they try to take the IP addresses from where this email would have originated. So that takes time. So it's a multi-pronged approach, and that's what is underway right now. And to ascertain what is the real origin of this particular mail. And given that this is a cyber domain threat, in fact, even top multinational companies undergo such kind of cyber intrusions and so on. So it's not always easy to trace the origins of an anonymous email, because it could have originated from anywhere, and one does not know the real sophistication behind this kind of an attack. It could be some
Siddharth,
amateur kind of playing a prank.
Situation of panic at the moment, and while we await more details on this according to reports and of officials, but thank you for joining us and giving us all those updates.